a few times. And, Hi everybody, Joe Appello here. George Connor back in town. Back from where the heck were you, George?
Oh, I was everywhere.
Out and about.
I've been to Charlotte, North Carolina, Pinehurst, North Carolina, New York City, Virginia Beach, Tyler, Texas, and the last trip was to Orlando.
Mostly golf related.
Pinehurst was work, Orlando was work, and the rest was just vacation.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the winter time. I work a lot in the summer, so I had a nice trip down to Texas with my daughter.
Good for you.
Got to see my cousin.
Well, welcome back.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here.
Back in town.
Nice to be here.
We'll open the show up with, even though it's a little bit later, Kobe Bryant, which was a real tragedy that everyone talked about for the last 2 weeks. What a shame. He was, I think the thing that hit me the most was that he was just coming into the second part of his life, so to speak, where he was so focused on his daughter and his family and doing some different things unrelated to basketball, but related to basketball, if that makes any sense. And he was just a really good guy, and you realize how much his presence or influence was felt around the world, everywhere in life. It was incredible.
Yeah.
You know?
Was it right away the Dallas Mavericks announced that they were going to retire his number? Now I don't know if that's both numbers because he wore.
I think just 24. That's what they said.
Because he wore 24 and he wore 8.
Yeah, I think just 24. I think.
Which, you know, is a little strange.
Yeah.
Only, I mean, he never played there. You know, so
Right.
it's a very, very rare would it be that you're going to retire a jersey of a player
Right.
who never played for your organization.
Right.
I did hear somebody, and I would be against this, having the league retire his numbers.
Right.
And they compared it to Jackie Robinson.
Robinson,
Well,
yeah.
Jackie Robinson had a whole different influence on the game of baseball.
Yeah.
That's separate from what Kobe did.
Well, a lot of players switch their numbers on their own too.
Yeah.
A lot of them went from, whoever had 8 or 24 switched it to someone like Spencer Dinwiddie of the Nets had number 8. He went to 26, which is 2 and 6 of the.
Yeah.
But he changed after that. The worst part about too with Kobe is that you don't know whether I wouldn't say pious error, but should they have been up there in the first place? From
From what I understand, no.
Right.
Every other helicopter had been grounded.
Was grounded. So
Yeah.
then you say, is it his fault because Kobe said, forget it, we're fine, let's give it a shot? Yeah, the pilot's like, yeah, well, the pilot's don't listen to whatever he says, obviously, because he drives for him or flies for him.
Yeah.
So
Now, I would assume, I guess the pilot does have the ability to say, absolutely not, I'm
Yeah.
not doing it.
Yeah.
Now, somebody else said that when they took off, it was okay and they ran into the fog bank.
right.
So who knows? But
They had to be aware of this possibility of.
But again, if all other helicopters were grounded, then
Right.
then there's
Right.
and it was to go to a basketball game.
He was similar to John F. Kennedy Jr. when he died. He flew into bad weather too over where was he, over in Rhode Island somewhere, and he crashed too, same type of thing. Should have been up there, but and I guess when they had crashed, they had to use fingerprints to identify 4 of the victims.
Oof.
It was so bad. I guess you got the actual plane crash, a helicopter crash, and you got all the fire and sifted through the bodies and everything and the rubbish, and oh my God, that just. And the worst part about it was, and his little daughter. She was bent on going. She wanted to go to UConn, play for Gino. That was.
Yep.
Had been up there a few times, and she was obsessed with UConn, and that would have been fun to watch that to fruition. But he was going to Mamba Academy where his daughter they were playing a tournament, and one of the women on the plane was one of the assistant coaches. She had 3 kids and a husband back home.
And then another one was a college baseball coach.
Yeah, Orange Coast County baseball coach John Altobelli.
Okay.
His wife and his daughter. His daughter played on Gigi's team. and another girl and her mother also played on Gigi's team. On their way to a game, they probably figured out a 15, 20-minute scamper in a helicopter. Let's get there. And I guess he had used the helicopter throughout his years in LA just to beat the traffic and much easier. And the pilot was basically his own personal pilot.
Yeah.
That he had
Yep.
throughout the years. And it was just. I was working out at Blue Sky, and I'm sitting there and I see it come over the TV screen. I was like, what? Kobe Bryant dead? It was just total shock.
I was at home. We had the golf tournament on, and it came over the news, and my daughter's 9, and I was trying to I don't it's that I don't want her to see that kind of thing.
Right.
But it was so shocking too.
Yeah.
Because it was crazy.
First, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like someone just some kind of TMZ thing or something. But and then you realize how bad that was. It was just. And the night before, LeBron had just passed to pass Kobe at number 3 in all-time scoring list in Philadelphia. Ironically, in Philadelphia, where Kobe was from.
Right.
So that was.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
This year's Hall of Fame inductees: Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett. Now, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine over the weekend, whose wife actually works at the Hall of Fame. If it was me, if I was Tim Duncan or Kevin Garnett, I'd say, you know what? Let me go in next year. And I almost feel like let Kobe go in by himself.
Yeah.
As a tribute to Kobe.
Right.
But in respect to Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan, who obviously have Hall of Fame careers, going into a class so overshadowed by Kobe Bryant posthumously going in. I don't know. What do you?
I don't know. That's that's maybe thinking too much into it.
Yeah.
But speaking of Hall of Fame, it's interesting because of the one Derek Jeter was one vote short of being unanimous, and the person that did vote will not reveal himself or herself, which is interesting. And
it'll be one of those. He'll tell his grandkid on his deathbed. By the way, that was me.
Yeah.
I was the moron that decided Derek Jeter shouldn't go in the Hall.
They should make it public, and they said they're not answering who did it. That's like reporters saying. As a coach, a question, he's like, I'm not telling you. It's the same type of thing.
Yeah.
And but how can you leave him off? It's just incredible. But that was something else.
And I think really it's probably just that. I want to be the guy.
Yeah.
I want to be the one guy because you can't argue.
Yeah.
Some very good careers. You could make an argument why they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, they got nothing on Derek Jeter. There's no reason for him not to go.
Well, I saw P. Rose, special on P. Rose, and he's selling. I think I said this last show. He's selling memorabilia, autograph signings in a hotel lobby in Las Vegas. That's what he does for a living. Sits there all day long and just.
And I think when up in New York, when they have the induction weekend, I think he sets up camp somewhere on the outskirts of where the Hall of Fame is.
Yeah,
you been up to the Baseball Hall of Fame?
I haven't been up there, no.
It's worth a trip.
Yeah.
Anybody, from say Hartford area, it's
a couple hours.
Yeah.
My nephew Nicky played up there in a tournament, Cooperstown. It was fun.
Yeah. Basketball Hall of Fame?
No, Baseball Hall of Fame.
No, but have you been to the Basketball Hall of Fame?
A long time ago.
Okay.
Long time ago, yeah.
Again, obviously it's in Springfield. It's right up the street.
Yeah, I got to go there too. Yeah. But anyway.
Been to the Golf Hall of Fame? No. I have.
I'm sure you have.
It's in St. Augustine, Florida. I was driving down.
Natalie Kubitz retired, huh?
Natalie Gulbis, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she was basically kind of retired the last couple of years.
Anyway. Oh, my God. Anyway.
There goes you watching golf, huh?
Yeah, that's the only reason I would watch it. One reason. Anyway, so now let me lose track. So Pete Rose was saying how he should be reinstated because of what happened with the Astros and the and all that kind of stuff. He said he did nothing compared to what they did, the magnitude of what they did as far as cheating the game and this and that. And all he did was bet on baseball, bet on his team.
Yeah.
Well, Pete, the point is that you denied it for 20 years.
Right.
And they have 5,000 pages of evidence against you, and you still deny it.
Ledgers or
whatever. Phone record. That's the issue, not whether they should let you get it. I mean, if you weren't so obstinate and so arrogant and so stubborn and said way back when, hey, you know what? I had a gambling problem. You're right. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry. I think you'd be in there by now. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Because look at all the other people who ran in that bad things, you know?
Yeah. Well, they say, the Hall of Fame is not a bunch of choir boys with Ty Cobb and Rogers Hornsby and some of these guys. Babe Ruth, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they all had their issues. Roy Halladay, he, I guess he's in the Hall of Fame, right? He's nominated to be in the Hall of Fame. And he was high on morphine when he crashed his plane. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
High as a kite. Yep. He was
Really?
flying 5 feet over the water in Texas somewhere, I think it was. And he was all morphined up, whether, I don't know if it was injections or what, but he was a big addict.
Morphine?
Nobody, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody even didn't mention that, but yeah, he was on all kinds of stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So yeah, when he crashed his plane by himself. But yeah, it's almost like the other guy from Jose Fernandez. Remember him on the Marlins?
On the speedboat, right?
Speedboat,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yep. Yeah.
He had been drinking all night.
Yeah.
That's where I got a bunch of coke. I went out there on the boat, all jammed up with a bunch of guys, and hit a barge, and
Yeah.
that's it.
And that's the end of that.
Yeah. But with Colby, it's just a shame, like I said, with you don't realize what a widespread influence he had on the nation and the world. My God.
Yeah, and like very few superstar athletes that transcended basketball.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knew who
Yeah.
Kobe was. If
Yeah,
you never
by-
watched an NBA game,
By one name.
you would recognize
one
Kobe.
name.
Yeah.
Colby. And the thing is that he just loved his daughter. And it was
Yeah.
funny because the oldest daughter had nothing to do with sports.
Yeah.
I think he was a volleyball player, I think, in high school.
Okay.
But she wasn't anything, not basketball.
Yeah, no
wise.
elite levels.
But the other one was, totally up. They said she was real good, too.
Yeah.
She's a really little player.
Yeah.
And then he had the other two daughters and the wife. And
Yep.
But it's just all week long, all years. It was funny because that was the week before Super Bowl, and usually that whole week of Super Bowl, it's hyped up and interviews. You didn't see any of that,
Right.
Because
Yeah,
Kobe took it over.
the press row or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
they
That
usually
one
have
day, media day.
They showed all that stuff, and there was nothing on.
Yeah.
But and all the tributes. I think they collected like 17,000 basketballs outside of the Staples Center. The people left there, signed or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, something like that. All the
Wow.
people putting their stuff in there. But Shaq was all messed up.
Yeah.
How about Jerry West? See Jerry West on an interview?
I did not know.
The night it happened, ABC had a special with Robert Roberts, Michael Strahan. Were on there with Tom Rinaldi. All three of them did a special 10 to 11 on Sunday night, the day that Kobe died. And they brought in Jerry West from a teleprompter. And but that poor guy was just he been crying all day long, and eyes were red. And he had taken Kobe like a father.
Yeah.
And he was just totally beside himself, understandably so.
Yeah.
And that was moving, and he was on there, and I don't know how they were able to even get through the telecast without breaking down. To
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
I mean, it's just so. You're in shock. You're in mourning. You feel bad, and the whole thing was just terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, on a lighter note, the Lakers had. They canceled their game that week, and they played the following Thursday or Friday against Portland. And LeBron did a pregame speech. Did you see that at all?
Yeah, yeah.
And he did a very nice job. He had a script. He just said, "I'm coming from the heart," and
Yeah.
that's what he did.
Yeah.
That was moving. And then they played at Sacramento. They got beat by Houston, by Portland that night, and 2 days later they played Sacramento and just blew them out. Put up 44 in the first quarter. But anyway, so Lakers had to come back. And LeBron, I like him or not, LeBron, I think is just the most amazing athlete you've ever seen. To do it at this level for so long, and so good, and never gets hurt, never takes a night off, plays hard all the time, always does the right thing. I mean, I think it's just people are jealous of that he's so, I won't say perfect, but he's just does such a good job. But NBA, I've been watching the NBA. That league football's over. There's not better. Some fun teams to watch. Zion coming back. It's fun to watch. He's unbelievable.
He's one that I'm not a big NBA fan by any means, but he's the guy that is worth watching.
He's small inside though. I mean, he's big and 285 pounds. But you get last night they played the Bucks, and Giannis and Lopez were able to block a couple of shots because inside he's just not big enough. He jumps quickly and jumps out of the roof, but That's tough. He's just not, only 6'6". You know what I mean? There's other guys who are 6'11", 7 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
Blocking the shot, it's a big difference. But anyway, so Super Bowl, we called it. I think we called it. Well, last 2 weeks ago, Jeff and I called both both KC, and I don't think we picked it back then when you were a month ago.
No, we were
too early.
Too early, yeah.
Yeah, but KC won it. I was kind of happy for Andy Reid. He's a class act.
Oh, absolutely.
Deserved it. 20 years.
Yep.
Did you ever see a video of him in the punt, pass, and kick contest?
Yeah.
He was 13 years old. Well, the funny part about it,
I might have been at that game, Joe.
the funny part about it, they asked him about that, right? And the kid behind him was 8 years old. There was another 13-year-old. So it was like this.
Yeah.
So he looked like even bigger than he really was. He goes, you got to remember that kid behind me was only 8 years old. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, that was good.
I was talking about my trips. Patrick Mahomes is from Tyler, Texas, which is where my daughter and I went for a little vacation to see my cousin. Tyler, Texas.
Why Tyler? Where'd you go?
My cousin lives there. Just family thing, so we just got away for a long weekend. Tyler is also the hometown to Earl Campbell.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tyler Tornado or something. 1 year, or the Flower. It was something Tyler. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. So that was my, again.
Is that kind of near Houston, that area?
No, 2 hours due east of Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Again, you're actually closer to Shreveport, Louisiana than Dallas.
Okay.
By the time you get there, but nice oil and gas town.
And you got Donald Trump tweeted. See a tweet he said?
From the whole state of Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas.
Somebody check his tweets.
Oh
Come
my
on.
God! Yeah, do you pay somebody for that?
By the way, we're filming this on February 5th, Wednesday afternoon. Trump was found not guilty on both impeachment accounts.
Oh well. Just breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking.
Just in.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, by the time you see the show, you're all going to know that.
Yeah. So Super Bowl. I just want to talk about some prop bets. Entertainment purposes only, of course.
Strictly.
There's a couple of prop bets. The biggest prop bet of the Super Bowl was a over/under on Patrick Mahomes' total rushing yards, which is throughout the game. I think the number started at 29. By game time, it was up to 35 because so much money was put on the over that they kept making it higher to get some action on the under.
Yep.
So, game goes on. He scrambles a few times, and with a minute to go, he's got 40 yards total. 40, which makes it over.
Right.
And I think
over by 5. He's got 4 to give.
So 75% of all the action was the over on that, and from Las Vegas, whatever. So people are counting their winnings. So meanwhile, the Kansas City Chiefs take 3 kneel downs. And every time he kneels down, he goes further and further back from the line of scrimmage, and he loses like 11 or 12 yards. So it becomes an over from 40 to an under at 29. And all those people lose their money. So that was amazing. That was amazing because usually when you take a kneel down, you kneel down right behind the center.
Right.
If you did that 3 times, it still would have been enough to keep him over.
Maybe stay at 36. Right. Yeah.
But he kept a couple times. He kept like inch your back to get some time off the clock, and then he would kneel down.
Yeah.
Now, at the college level, I think that goes as a team stat, not as an individual.
Yep.
So, but.
And then I think.
So that was interesting.
And then on a sack, that's not counted as negative rushing yards?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So.
So that was Mahomes, obviously, great second half, great game.
I think he should refund all that money out of his own pocket that everyone lost.
Well, maybe it's a Pete Rose thing. Maybe he had the under.
Yeah, I think he probably did. It sure looked like that way. Yeah, because he kept backing up. You just take a knee right there.
Yeah.
Anyways, and Debbie Lovato, over-under was 2 minutes for the national anthem.
Okay.
She rifled through it at 1:50, 1 minute 50 seconds.
And now, if you were going to wager with a friend for a candy bar or something, you took the over there?
I would have taken the over.
You would have taken the over.
I figured she'd take her time. Okay. She'd hurry. Might want to get it over with. Yeah. So anyway, she had done it a couple times. I guess she had sang twice at some other events. I don't know what they were. Both times she was under, and one time she was over. So it obviously depends on that.
Yeah.
But anyway, and a couple of overs were sacks in the game, and then there was passing yards, receiving yards. This is an interesting one I never heard before. Over under 26.5 for the first touchdown scored in the game. Meaning that the number of the jersey of the player to score the touchdown first under 26 or over 26. So
Really?
in other words, over 26, you got Mahomes is 15, Garoppolo's 10.
Right. But you figure he's going to throw to a receiver, which would be a high number.
Will be a high number, yeah.
Right.
So, so that was 26 and a half, and it ended up being Mahomes scored the first touchdown, number 15. But they had like Tyreek Hill's 10, Hardeman 17. But you got Kelsey with 87. You've got some other guys. The wideouts are Emmanuel Sanders 17. So you got some. I think the better bet there was the under on the 20. I think you had more numbers on the 26 and under. But I think another over under was Robbie Gould with 7.5 points, which I think he might have gotten because he had 2 field goals and 2 extra points. I think that was an 8. But yeah, so there was the prop bets are pretty popular nowadays, from what I understand. But and then a lot of people had the over in the game, which was 50. It started off 51, ended up being 53 and a half, I think, by game time, and ended up being 51.
Yep.
The office pools, the common numbers, they were 7-3 first quarter, 0-0 second quarter, 0-0 third quarter, and then 1-0 for the final.
Yeah.
For your
the
box,
the
boxes, yeah. So, because usually 0-0 is probably the best numbers to have, 7-3, 7-4. 4-7, whatever, were probably the most popular, or percentage-wise the best one. So that was true for him. I thought the game, I thought the game was boring until the last quarter. I didn't like the way they didn't take shots down the field. Didn't open up a little bit.
Yeah.
They were conservative. But I think San Francisco was keeping everything in front of them, though. So I don't know if there were shots downfield. But for my money, I throw the ball deep to Tyreek. You got Tyreek Hill and Harvey. Those guys are track athletes. Right. So fast. Even if you don't get a completion, you might get a PI. Even if they pick it off, it's 60 yards. Yeah. You have the guy tackle him. But anyway, that's and Kyle Shanahan was outscored. Let me see that 52-0. All right, from the Falcons when he was the offensive coordinator with the Falcons against the Patriots. They won 28-3, and obviously he was head coach last Sunday, and he blew the 2010 lead. So he was outscored by 52 points after those leads in 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, and he just went too conservative, just almost playing not to lose. A case in point, right before the half, they got the ball. A minute and a half, 45 minutes, with 3 timeouts, and they don't do anything. Right. You kind of basically just hand the ball off. They throws a bomb to Kittle. Kittle's with 19 seconds to go. Because KC wasn't using their timeouts either. They figured they weren't going to get the ball back. Sure. Throws a bomb to Kittle. Kittle gets a PI for pushing off, which I thought was a PI. Yeah. And then Shannon's like, well. And then that was the end of pretty much end of the half. Right. Why not push it? You got 3 timeouts. What are you afraid of?
Exactly. Yeah.
His answer was, I was afraid of Mahomes with the explosive offense. They could score so quickly. Yeah. You can't think like that. What about your offense? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's like you said, playing to not lose. That's exactly what he was doing. That's why they lost. Not why they lost, but that was one of the big factors. I mean, and you got
keep your foot on the gas.
I mean, even and then they had the ball they were up 20. It was 2017. Now they're up 20-10, and they had the ball and they ran it once. And they got it 6 yards. They passed it twice. Yeah. Gave the ball right back to KC, and they scored. Same thing, and they got it back again, and he passed twice. And I don't know. Yeah. And then Mahomes come back. That's fine, but I mean, you got to get that clock going. You got to run the ball, play field position, and play the game to win, as Herman Edwards says, right?
You play to win the game.
And not to lose the game. I think that's what he did. Yeah. And that's on him. I don't care what anyone says, make every excuse you want. I think that's on Kyle Shanahan to me. It just, you get that. That's the same thing when Seattle threw that pass that what's the name, picked off. Yep. Same thing. Just a dumb play. Now football. Let's talk about TB12 now. Where's he going? What do you think he's doing?
I'm hearing everything. I'm hearing Raiders. His kids toured a private school in Tennessee, which might make you think that maybe the Titans are in there. Right. I mean, you can make a really strong argument that Kraft won't let that happen. That he'll, re-sign him. Because to me, and everybody knows I'm not a Patriots fan. It'd be kind of criminal that Tom Brady goes and does the Joe Namath thing and plays for some
Joe Montana.
Yeah, Montana. He went
Casey,
Casey Namath ended up retiring as a
New England
as a Ram.
has to keep him. They have to.
You got to keep him, and if you're going to keep him, you got to give him
weapons.
tools. Yeah.
I think that would
what
be
I understand, like you say, the house in Boston's cleared out.
Mm-hmm.
He had his own luxury box at Gillette Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
That's cleaned out. Mm-hmm. So who knows?
There's indicators that he, and then
in the commercial he was in, he kind of said, "I'm not going anywhere." I don't know what that means.
Then the other thing too was, in the scheme of things, he never said, well, I'd like to come back, but I have to work out the details with management. He just says, I'll see what I'm open.
Yeah.
So, I would think if he was coming back, he would say, well, I'll be back, but I'm just not. If I get the right situation. He's been underpaid, obviously.
And one of the things that, and I'm trying to remember who it was. It was a former Patriot player who had been on a few Super Bowl teams, but also lost some. I think it was a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And he said Belichick's deal: when you lose a game, don't do anything for a couple weeks.
Right.
You're emotional. It's hard. The season's over. It didn't go the way you wanted. Don't declare free agency.
Right.
Don't just chill. Go home and wait a month. And there's plenty of time.
Yeah.
And I think obviously Belichick taught Tom Brady an awful lot, and I think that might be the approach he's taking.
My initial reaction was he's going into the Chargers, brand new stadium, a lot of weapons. Philip Rivers moved to Florida. He's out of there. He's not coming back.
Yep.
They have a spot open. They got Keenan Allen. They've got Melvin Gordon. They've got a lot of offensive weapons.
Yep.
They had a good team. They had Anthony Lynn's a good young coach that he likes.
Yeah.
That was my initial reaction. But Raiders, he was talking to the owners of the Raiders at one of the boxing match or something. He was talking to
some event.
Yeah, some event he was talking to. But so what?
And that would be in Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a Vegas guy.
And I thought San Diego or LA because his parents, his family are out there.
Northern
on the West
California?
Coast. I'm not sure exactly where.
I thought it was a little bit
his mother
north.
and father are out there, I think, right?
Yes.
His mother has cancer or had cancer.
Yeah.
So, then there's a thought process where let me finish out my last couple of years. A little more relaxed atmosphere. I won my Super Bowls. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I get away from Belichick for a little bit. New coaching. Maybe get. See what I can do without him. Is that the thought process? Who knows? Or do I say my structured environment where I know what's going on? Josh McDaniels is still there, which that's surprising, isn't it? McDaniels didn't get a nibble for a coach.
I almost feel like the Patriots are getting in the way of that. I think they want McDaniel to stay so that when Belichick does,
could be.
Yeah.
The problem with the New England, just say Brady goes. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jason Stidham, are you kidding me?
And this goes back to the story that was out 18 months ago that Belichick and Kraft didn't see eye to eye. Belichick drafted Garofalo because that was going to be Brady was going to retire. Belichick was going to retire. He would leave the Patriots in a great place with a great quarterback to continue their run.
Right.
And Kraft traded him for really nothing.
Yeah, pretty much nothing.
And as the story went from, it was an ESPN story. Brady was kind of pushing that deal along. From what they say, Brady was not a guy, or has not been a guy who mentors.
Shares reps and
mentors the young quarterback.
Yeah, it's my team, that's it.
Yeah.
But I mean, the only thing with Brady says, okay, if I come back, what are you going to do for offensive weapons?
Yeah, what are you going to give me?
Especially wideouts.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have a tight end. Ben Watson's 48 years old.
Yeah.
You've got wideouts. You got Canelo Harry, who's heavy. He had a bad start because he was hurt. And you've got Sanu, who Atlanta let him go because he's been terrible.
Yeah.
And Dorsett's terrible. They have no wideouts at all and no weapons. Maybe Gronk comes out of retirement to help Brady come back. I mean, who knows,
Is it Steve Harvey? Is that the guy who hosts like a lot of these award shows and stuff like that? Yeah. And I didn't see it. I was fast asleep long before midnight. But it was one of these New Year's Eve shows, and they had a cake that was made with Steve Harvey's head, and Gronk picks it up and spikes it like a football.
Legos.
Oh, it was Legos. That was it. Legos. Yeah. Steve,
crazy.
He was. You can tell he was not. I mean, he wasn't pretending to be mad. He was mad.
Yeah.
But I've really gotten to enjoy Gronkowski.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy.
Pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
Lived. I think did it perfect.
Well, at the Super Bowl, they were saying about Belichick being at the game. He goes, Gronk goes, I can't go down there because they'll try to talk him out of retirement again. That was pretty good.
But
That's pretty good.
yeah, he's kind of shows he's a normal person. I think he lives a very simple life.
Yeah.
There was talk that he never cashed a game check after the first year or two. He lived off his endorsements.
Yeah.
And he retired early.
Yeah, maybe that wears off soon. Maybe
Yeah.
come back. Who knows? Maybe 2 years.
He'd come back for the love of the game, not for the money. Because he's probably close to making the same amount of money now as he did when he was playing.
Yeah,
with all the stuff he's got going on.
Yeah.
He's on a TV show on I think it's Nickelodeon. My daughter will watch it sometimes, and these people will send in like these either amazing or funny sports clips, like it's like a home video type thing. And Gronkowski and these two other people are hosted it, and he's just hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is funny stuff.
Yeah, it's a piece of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, doing that, I think Kraft has to open the vault for him. Says, I'll give you 35 million, whatever you want. Come on back. I'll give you some weapons.
Yeah.
We'll get some free agents there. The other thing I heard from a couple of ESPN guys I was watching one day, he said that players don't like to go to New England. They just don't like the weather and Belichick and the structure and discipline. They just don't want that. Winning a Super Bowl is one thing, but a lot of guys really don't care about that as much as they say. I think,
So to me, I find that almost hard to believe because you don't become that level of an athlete without being an elite. I mean, with a passion.
You would think so. You would think so.
So the ultimate passion is to what? Is to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
And so going there,
But you might just say, well, I'll stay where I'm at, and hopefully we'll get better there.
Yeah.
Or I can help us win.
Or at some point, Brady's got to retire. So
how many guys go to New England and say, "Arr," and they get out of there because they just don't like
the structure,
all the intensity and stuff like that. But that's how you win. That's why they've been so successful. Now Mookie Betts got traded by the Red Sox, so now if you lose Brady and Mookie, the city of Boston lose their two biggest stars.
Yeah.
So that's the interesting thing with the Red Sox. With Mookie Betts, they're going to pay him $27 million this year as a what do they call that? Arbitration year or something.
Yeah. Yep.
And then next year he'd be a free agent again. And so basically the Dodgers get Mookie for $27 million for their 1 year.
Yeah.
And then the Red Sox get Alex Verdugo and another young pitcher. They get rid of David Price, which is good because he was getting $1 million a start.
So the Mets did not take any of the Red Sox didn't take any of Betts' contract because that will happen sometimes.
I don't think so.
Because remember, like when A-Rod came to the Yankees, Houston was still paying part of that contract.
Maybe they did take some.
I don't know.
I'm not quite sure.
I know that does happen.
I thought they took some of Price's, but
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, they took both, I guess. Maybe,
Yeah,
I wasn't sure about that, but so the Red Sox, and who's coaching? We don't have one yet.
Again, this is February 5th. Pitchers and catchers report in 5 days.
And they have no coach.
And they have no coach.
And there's no names out there. There's no speculation. No talk.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't heard a word.
Bring back Bobby Valentine.
I haven't heard a word.
So okay, remember Bobby Valentine was there for, and it was a disaster.
Yeah, from Japan.
Inside scoop. Well, actually, right now he's got Bobby V's up by the airport, and he's still the athletic director of Sacred Heart University.
Right.
But I have some inside information.
You do.
When he went to coach the Red Sox that year, he knew exactly what the deal was. He was going to be the bad guy. He was going to go in there for a year and then talk to the owners and say, this guy's got to go, this guy's got to go, this guy's got to go. I'm going to take the heat for it. I'll take the blame. I don't care. That was it. So as much as it was a failure, it was a success because he went in and from an inside view, he was like, undercover boss kind of thing.
They were drinking in the bullpen, all kinds of stuff.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And how about this Houston Astros thing with the cheating? That's something else.
That's another strike against Boston. Is Boston's under investigation now for the 2018 season?
Right.
Cora being the bench coach in Houston in 17.
Couple
things
that struck me is I don't know if you remember the 2-0 pitch that Altuve hit for a home run against Chapman in the playoffs, and he ran on the base. I guess it was a walk-off.
Walk-off, yeah.
And he was trying to pull his shirt off, and he wouldn't let them.
And as soon as he rounded third, he started grabbing his jersey, yelling, "Don't rip my jersey off! Don't rip my jersey off!" The speculation being that he had some kind of a sensor, buzzer, or whatever it was. Major League Baseball did say that they investigated the use of something like that and didn't find anything.
Yeah.
They asked Altuve, what was that all about?
Yeah.
And he said, his answer, my wife didn't want them to wear my jersey out.
Which is bull.
That seems
that's
a bit of a
garbage.
stretch. I tell you what, though, they're banging the garbage can.
Yeah.
If you're watching the game, and
how do you hear that? I don't understand.
go now, though. Now that you if you're waiting for it, it's really obvious.
Okay.
That they had a sequence like if it's going to be a fastball, they would do whatever.
Yeah.
It's very, very clear that.
Another story I read with Robert Trinos, the catcher, swung one time in a game, and one of that device fell out of his shirt onto the ground. He picked up, put it in his back pocket real quick.
Ooh.
And it happened twice. Somebody else did the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Well,
So now the talk is, you wouldn't award the World Series to the Dodgers, but do you vacate the win from the Astros and not have a winner in 2017?
Yeah.
I don't
Who knows?
know about that.
I mean, yeah.
Somebody who got really hurt on that deal, Hugh Darvish had a great year for the Dodgers all through the year. Had 2 starts in the series and just absolutely got lit up. It was also a free agent year. So you could argue that the Astros, knowing what pitch is coming, could have cost Darvish millions of dollars because he didn't sign this enormous free agent deal.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing that they gave all the players that they talked to immunity in that, except for Beltran, because then he became a coach, and then he's not a coach.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let him start. And the Mets hired Luis Rojas. What's up with that?
He was in the running when they hired Beltran, so that was kind of a quick one, I think.
Yep.
I mean, that tells me he was kind of runner-up to Beltran.
Right.
So that, they did that kind of
But
right
you know
away.
what's funny? Buck Showalter got no play at all.
No.
Maybe he's too old school, too old, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought he would be good with the Mets, though, because the controversy with Beltran and the young guys and whatnot. But the Astros took Dusty Baker, who's over 70 years old. I think he's 70 something, isn't he?
Yeah.
72 or something like that. So they need a presence in that locker room in the clubhouse, I guess. But that was that's a tough thing to the extent that they went to, I guess, cheat is for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
To get the advantage of. I mean, that's age old. They've been doing it for years. Baseball, all different ways to get an advantage. But
the argument, like you say, you've always tried to do it, and I guess when you just start using too much technology is where, okay, now you cross the line.
Right. Right.
Because I remember reading there's a story about the '86 Mets. The Bad Guys Won, it was called.
Yeah.
Really good book. A lot of inside stories of the '86 Mets, which was, you thought the Bronx Zoo was weird.
Crazy,
Wow, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But that's a big thing in baseball. And he talked a lot about it. Was as a pitcher tipping his pitches and stealing signs and all that kind of stuff. It goes on, but like I say, if it goes on, it's almost like, and I'm going to throw in a golf reference here.
Good.
There's some of the rules bodies in golf are trying to get rid of some of the technology that helps golfers, say, read a green and how the ball's going to roll across the slope. The argument being it takes away from the skill if you have this artificial thing, and maybe being able to steal signs by.
What is it, a device or something? What are you talking about?
Not device, but actually, it's basically really detailed topographical maps.
Oh, wow.
With percentage of grades and slopes and everything like that.
Again, analytics of golf almost.
Yeah, yeah. So the governing bodies have kind of rolled back how detailed they can be and that kind of stuff. But again, the point being that reading the green should be a skill.
Yeah.
And if I hand you the information, we don't have the skill.
Right.
Stealing signs or figuring out that the guy's tipping pitches because I'm good at that and I can watch things.
Right.
That's a skill, and you can't get rid of that.
Can't teach it either.
You can't get rid of that.
Yeah.
So.
There's one other thing I talked to about to Jeff last time in the last show was there's a movement to eliminate onside kicks. Did you hear this?
Yeah.
To start the ball at the if you score and you would be trying an onside kick, instead of doing that, you would get the ball at your own 25, 4th and 15. One shot. You make the first down, you keep it. If you don't make it, the other team takes it over right there. That's one thing they were going to try one move because it eliminates takes. And I guess the percentage of recovering onside kicks down to like 12%.
Oh, yeah. It's,
which I thought was higher. It's higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I thought somebody never do that. And they started a new football league, XFL, is it called?
Yep.
There's like 10 teams.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And it starts
Maybe
8 teams.
Maybe Tom Brady will play there.
There's at 10, I think it's like 8 or 10 game schedule, I guess.
Yeah.
And they play Saturdays and Sunday, 9 games.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
there's a couple, Cordell Jones in it, and I don't know who
I
other
mean, you go back
quarterbacks
to,
are,
if you ever watched the 30 for 30 that ESPN did on the XFL,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, at the end of the show, they blame it all on Donald Trump, why it failed. But I mean, when they started, that was a whole different deal.
Yeah.
They had a lot of really good players. Herschel
did.
Walker played there.
Yeah.
Steve Young started there.
Jim Kelly, I think, was in there.
Yeah, Jim Kelly was in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rick Neuheisel
Right.
was coaching. Lee Corso coached Burt Reynolds' team, the Tampa Bay Bandits. A lot of
Yeah.
stars that
Yeah.
they were able to pluck off.
Yeah.
Now that was they didn't go against the NFL. That was a
Yeah.
spring schedule, went to a fall schedule, and at the end of the show they do
There's a bunch of different
they
rules.
blame it on Donald Trump because Trump
Yeah.
owned the New York Generals,
Yeah.
New Jersey Generals, and he was the one that forced them to kind of, okay, we're going to go head to head against the NFL, and
Right.
it wasn't ready.
Right. Yeah. So that starts this weekend, I believe.
Yep.
But
So football's not over.
no, it's not.
But baseball season's here,
Baseball's
and that's the
coming up
best
2
season
weeks,
of the
yeah.
year. Yep.
Let me see. Greg Bird just signed a minor league contract with the Texas Rangers, so he's gone.
Yep.
Luke Voigt had core surgery. He's good. He's good to go. He's in shape. They're moving Torres to short. Lemeo's playing second. They got Andujar and Ursula the third. Leonard gets some reps at first. Mike Ford, Andujar, and Voigt at first base. Sanchez catching. Hikashawa, whatever the name is their backup catcher because Romine went to the Tigers.
Yep.
Aaron Hicks is out till June. So I guess Brooke Garner starts in center. Stan in left and Judge in right as of this point. And DH is who knows. So should be there to watch. The Yankees got obviously Garrett Cole. And they still have Tanaka. He has surgery off season too. He should be back.
Okay.
But and the Mets, it's all about the C word.
Mets are looking solid.
All about
Yeah.
They have 6 potential starters.
Yeah.
pitchers.
They had DeGrom, Syndergaard back, Stroman, who had a good year
Yep.
last year. Walker, Mats, Porcello, and then
Michael Wacha.
Yep.
Yeah. 6 potential starters.
I really like them, and I think, to me, I think the National League East is going to be a really,
Oh my
really
God. That's the worst part about it is the division they're in.
division.
Yeah.
And I also think the AFC East in football is going to be one of the best divisions next year too. Patriots they'll do something.
Yeah.
The Bills are coming on strong. You look at you laugh at these two teams, and I'm okay with that. But the Jets and the Dolphins had kind of miserable season. They finished the season.
better
They
at the
both
end,
finished the season really well.
Absolutely.
Including obviously a win in
Absolutely.
New England.
Yeah, New England's going to be back to the pack a little bit, and Buffalo keeps getting better.
Yeah.
And the Jets and Miami should be better. So, that should be a good division too. Giants, who knows with Joe Judge, and they have to really draft well to make marked improvement, I think.
Yeah.
For them, they need some defense. They need some offensive linemen. I don't know. It's just such a process.
Yep.
Such a process.
Yep. But no. So yeah, the Mets strong rotation. Again, a little over inventory in the infield, and I still think a little under inventory in the outfield. So it looks like, Davis, Nimmo, Conforto's probably the
Right.
most common starting.
Right.
Starting.
Merznick, I guess, will use off the bench as a center fielder from the Astros. They
Yeah.
got.
Yep.
And
You can pinch hit or
Dominic Smith, I guess, will be out there a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to find it. I mean, Smith. Give a guy a rest.
First base a
Be
little
a
bit.
pinch
yeah,
hitter. Give
yeah.
Alonso a rest.
Yeah.
Because he's a
I think McNeil plays third
I
full
think
time.
McNeil third because
Cano's
Cano's still
second.
going to be a second.
Yeah.
Again, McNeil
Yeah.
is ultimately McNeil is a second baseman.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And that guy Altobelli was McNeil's coach in college.
yeah,
That died in the
Yep,
Kobe
yep.
Bryant crash.
So
Aaron
I'm
Judge
just-
too.
yeah, I'm still not thrilled with their catching.
They got Ramos, and who else is their backup?
Nito and
Nito's still there, right?
Is it Anibal Sanchez? Yeah, there's a Sanchez. But Nito, I think is
Wilson Ramos,
second.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what they did? They signed with the Yankees. The Yankees signed Eric Kratz. I think the Yankees signed 2 older catchers.
Yeah.
Eric Kratz and somebody else in their minor leagues. Yeah.
What the Mets still haven't addressed, I think, is still that middle relief.
Yeah.
You know, Diaz. I think Diaz comes back, has a
look at this
great
way.
year in 2020.
They got Familia, lost 30 pounds. They said.
I just
don't
don't like
yeah, what did
Familia.
that happen?
I just
Yeah.
don't like him. You know.
They got Familia, Diaz,
Lugo.
Justin Wilson, then they got Lugo and then Gazelman. So they got 5 guys there that aren't bad.
Sewald's
okay.
got potential.
Yeah. So I mean, from that and there, and then you can move Walker or Porcello maybe to do, maybe work some middle relief. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't, because you really can't have 6 starters. Even 5's tough at the major league level. But we'll see what happens with them. But like I said, the toughest thing is the division. They got the World Series champion. You got the Nationals World Series champion. You've got the Braves, who have gotten much better, and then you've got the Phillies with Joe Girardi.
Yeah.
And Zach Wheeler. So it's tough. Boy,
now, if the Mets can stop trading their good players to the Phillies, I feel a whole lot better about this.
Yeah. So then you got the Dodgers out west. Astros, I think, will lose a little bit, not having Cole and stuff like that. They're good.
Hey, I'm a big Netflix guy, especially in the wintertime. They came out with a 3-part. I'm jumping from baseball. We can go back there. They did a 3-episode mini-series or whatever you want to call it on the Aaron Hernandez
that was
story.
amazing.
Did you see it?
I saw it. Yeah, it was amazing. Wow. Amazing, wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
It's absolutely amazing.
Unbelievable the stuff that went
plus
on.
The real conversations from jail, prison to his mother.
So if you haven't seen it on Netflix,
it was fantastic.
Look it up. A lot of recorded phone calls. Obviously, when you're calling from the penitentiary, they listen to everything. Some of the conversations he had with his mother. They're painful to listen to. That.
How about the part where she said, "Give me $1 million"? You just got signed for $40 million.
Yeah.
He's like, "What are you, nuts?"
Yeah. I don't have it.
And then the part of him being gay with his quarterback boyfriend.
Quarterback from high school. A lot of talk of that.
Yeah. Then the father passes, and the mother hooks up with the uncle 2 months later.
Yeah.
Live with him, and then Hernandez goes down the road to his cousin's house, which basically was a crack house.
Yeah.
And that's where the trouble began with him. And remember how you were saying he was smoking pot every day before school?
Yeah.
15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And nobody picked up on it. Nobody did anything about it. I mean, nothing but Aaron Hernandez was a bad guy. He was a bad guy.
Bad guy.
He was just not a good guy, man.
Again, I'll be a spoiler alert kind of thing. The last, say, 20 minutes of the third and final thing, they really try to put it all on CTE.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I think, hey, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV or anything else, but I don't see anybody else. There's a lot of ex-athletes out there with CTE. I don't see any of them going.
If he didn't do all the dope, angel dust, and ecstasy and all the other drugs that he did when he was 16, 17, I would say, okay, yeah, you got us. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially when you're 16, 17, 18, you're doing all those psychedelic drugs. It's got to mess with your brain.
Sure.
It has to.
Yeah.
And they said that he got away with so many things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He shot a guy in Florida when he was there.
Yeah.
Shot that one guy. He shot that guy, Alex Bradley, in the eye.
Yep.
And Alex Bradley actually was busted in Unionville years ago by a couple of the cops that were telling me,
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually arrested him. He was all messed up in Unionville. And one thing that struck me, too, was kind of weird, I didn't understand, was they had videotape of the fiance or the wife, wherever she was, bringing that big box out of the house with maybe the gun and dope, whatever.
Bloody clothes.
Yeah, and they said, "Where'd you put it?" She goes, "I disposed of it." And they said, "Where?" She goes, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And they let that go.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you can't carry it too far, right?
Right.
Looks heavy.
Yeah.
And where do you dump? Well, not that many dumpsters around there. So I don't know. Did they back off her? They give her a break, or they didn't bother? That was just kind of weird for me.
Because obviously you're tampering with evidence. You're an accomplice now.
I'll have to videotape him in the gun in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see when? And then on the way to go pick up Odin Lloyd at the gas station, he was dancing around. He was high as a kite there.
Yeah.
Allegedly high as a kite.
Yep.
And that night and everything. And then you're looking from Odin Lloyd's standpoint. Why would you leave at 2:45 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning? These guys pick you up.
Yeah, I kind of get the sense he didn't have a choice.
Yeah, where are you going? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Guys walking in with guns, and here we go. Because he texted. So Odin Lloyd was engaged to Aaron Hernandez's fiance, I believe. There was some connection.
Sisters. he was dating Aaron Hernandez's fiance's sister
Okay.
or whatever it is.
And
they said
and
that,
he texted.
Right.
The night that he died, he
NFL.
was in the car, and he texted. He wanted
NFL.
somebody to know who he was with.
yeah, he said NFL. And then she was saying how they had a man cave, Aaron had a man cave, and they would smoke dope all day long, and the sister would be upstairs like cooking,
Yeah.
cooking brownies or something.
Yeah.
It was quite fascinating.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
And all the real life people that
But I mean,
never talk.
again, a bad guy or whatever, but talk about a fall from grace.
Yeah.
And here's a kid, he's 23, he signs a $40 million contract, and boom.
Yeah, I loved his little daughter, and then just a shame.
Yeah.
As I said, I just saw a little bit of a 30 for 30 on Michael Vick. That was interesting too.
Oh, I haven't seen
You
that.
got to see that one. The second part's coming up this week, but the first part was same thing with him. He signed a big contract with the Falcons.
Yep.
And bought this big giant house in Virginia,
Yeah.
which basically was a hangout.
Yeah,
all his friends.
He's from southeastern Virginia, Hampton Roads area.
Yeah, and that's where he did the dog race, the dog fighting and
Dog
things
fighting,
like that.
yep.
And when he was gone and he was in Atlanta playing, all his friends had keys. They hung out there, dope and whatever they were doing in the house, and he just let that go. And then he said he stopped training and he lost his edge, and he had a bad year that year, and that was the start of the fall from him. And then he went to prison and he came out. He's a really good guy now. There's a success story because he really turned it around.
Yeah.
Good for him though.
I don't know. For me, to do what he did,
Yeah.
there's a lack of human,
Yeah.
just empathy.
Yeah.
Can you rehab that? I don't know.
I think a lot had to do with the drugs. I mean, you're constantly partying, and your whole life, your whole sense of worth is warped because of that.
Yeah.
And you get all these bad guys hanging out at your house, and you come home and you want to be the big shot, and
Yeah, and that's one of the things that they said about Aaron Hernandez, and it was somebody that was on the team in the show said the best thing that could have happened for Aaron Hernandez was to not get drafted by the Patriots, to get drafted by somebody on the West Coast, because every time he came back to Bristol, it wasn't good.
Urban Meyer said that.
And just it was. Yeah,
He said every time he went home.
And he had asked, so going into his what turned out to be his last year, because he had shot the guy in the face. The guy in the face was like, I guess, kind of like a mob boss type thing.
Yeah.
He has to get traded because he was scared.
Yeah.
And so what the Patriots did, they're not going to trade him.
Yeah.
They got him. They got him like a kind of a dumpy apartment. So he's staying somewhere else.
Right.
So
Right.
Who knows? Had he gotten traded, maybe none of this happens. But I think bad people do bad things.
They would have found him.
Yeah.
They probably would have flown him out there or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But that was, I think the biggest thing about the poor guy, he had such a messed up home life, and after his father died when he was 16, that was the beginning of the end, the beginning of the end. And then they say he went to Florida, and but he was a heck of an athlete, I guess, Boy, just tough, and that's a shame. Because, and even he joked, remember in the show he joked about getting an endorsement deal for Smith & Wesson? I mean, God almighty.
From prison.
Yeah.
From prison. He's
Laughing
talking to his lawyer.
His agent,
His agent,
whatever, one of the two guys,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get
Yeah,
endorsement.
it was the agent. They said something about you lost this deal, you lost that, and he didn't care, whatever.
Yeah.
And he said,
Call Miss Smith & Wesson, see if I can get endorsement. Wow. Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
I think he really thought he was going to beat it and get out until the end, then reality set in, and he was just like, I'm not beating this.
He did, and I actually didn't know this until I watched the documentary. He got found guilty, obviously, for the Odin Lloyd murder.
Yeah.
But he was also then sat trial for an additional murder, and he got acquitted on that.
Exonerated on that one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they found a car at his cousin's house. I guess the cousin, the one that died of breast cancer, that she was a bad influence on him. Well, not her fault, but I mean, he had somewhere to go.
But that was the house where he got mixed up in after his dad left and everything else. So
bad
a sad
stuff.
story. It's not a feel-good movie if you're going to watch it at home.
And he was set to go to UConn too until he went down to Florida.
He was going to go play with his brother DJ.
Yeah, and then he went to Florida, and that was it.
And his father passed away, so he pulled back the verbal commitment to UConn. Yeah. And then what I think happened was DJ was moved from quarterback to wide receiver, and somebody got to Hernandez and said, "See, this is the kind of team they are. They're going to make you do this. They're going to make you do that." And
it could be,
And there he goes.
I thought it was very, very well done.
Very well done.
It was amazing.
Definitely
and
worth
then
watching.
I guess his brother, some people said it wasn't true to form, but I mean, he said, look, It was riveting for me.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I thought it was very, very good. So, anyway.
All right.
All right, George, you want to wrap up some golf? I got about a minute. I'll give you about a minute anyway. Sorry, pal. Gotta go to bed.
This week, Rory McIlroy will retake the #1 world ranking.
Oh, okay. You heard it here first.
Passing Brooks Koepka.
Okay.
So that's coming up.
Brooks is #1 right now.
Koepka's #1, and but he's gonna flip. It's more complicated than the BCS with the rankings and all that kind of stuff. But golf season's heating up. We got we had the greatest show the greenest show on grass at the Waste Management Tournament, which has really become a kind of a cool tradition of the tournament. They time it so it ends right when it goes to the Super Bowl. So a lot of fun, and we'll talk more about Masters coming up pretty soon.
Well, welcome back. Good to have you back.
All right.
Sir.
Nice to be here, Joe.
Good job, bud.